Morning, John. Morning, Nancy.
Good morning. Thank you. I realize it's an extremely busy day, and we appreciate you taking the time to talk to your constituents here.
No problem. It's going to be a busy week.
It sure is. All right. Obviously, today, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, he is going to be making a speech. I say to a joint session, even though there's quite a few Democrats who are going to be sitting it out. We're going to get into, obviously, you're going to be watching and hearing what he has to say, but we understand there is controversy about the visit and the way it was done. Do you feel that the way it was done was disrespectful at all to the administration?
No, not at all. The Speaker of the House has the authority to invite anyone who he wishes to address Congress. We are an equal branch of government. And the fact that we know Iran wants to wipe Israel off the face of the earth. Israel's our greatest ally and friend. And if the Prime Minister wants to address the American people in Congress, the Speaker certainly has the right to, and we should hear what he has to say, what his insights are on the current state of affairs with Iran, and hear what his point of view is. And you know, the United States is moving forward with some controversy on how we are dealing with Iran. I felt the sanctions were working. It brought Iran to the table. I think that was our greatest chance of dearming them. This 10-year deal is raising a lot of eyebrows and a lot of questions, and to turn our back on the Prime Minister of Israel, who is our greatest friend and ally, I think is the wrong thing to do.
So you don't believe that he's here and for political reasons on both sides? Obviously, with an election coming up, some are saying that it's not appropriate because they have that going on, and then also because there are diplomacy and diplomatic channels going on in the background. Could this screw up any kind of talks that we are having with?
Well, I'm concerned about the talks that we're having and what we're hearing. A lot of people here in Washington don't agree that we should allow Iran to continue on a 10-year deal. Nobody trusts them. Even NATO said that we have no way of determining whether or not they're abiding by any type of agreement. You can't make friends with people who are openly saying they're going to wipe one nation off the face of the earth. My bigger concern is their relationship with Russia and our relationship with Russia, which has deteriorated to the point where if Iran gets nuclear weapons and if they were to use them, the relationship with Russia and Iran, I think, poses a huge threat to the United States.
I don't know where there could be a conflict between, the United States mission and their intent as far as Iran and nuclear weapons are concerned and Israel. I mean, Israel is their next door neighbor, and as you mentioned twice already, Iran has openly vowed to wipe them off the face of the earth. So, I mean, I don't think Netanyahu has anything except the best possible intentions in mind, not only for Israel, but for the world at large. So I can't imagine what he could say or do in a speech to Congress that would undermine the president's plan.
Rather than let the American people hear his point of view, which I think is very important, and especially since the road that we're taking with Iran, many people have very much concerns with it. The sanctions were working. Everyone admits that. We were bringing Iran to their knees, and we brought them to the table, and now relieving those sanctions and making a 10-year deal. What happens after 10 years?
Can I just ask you, have they made a deal yet? Because from what I understand, there's still a lot of way to go if any deal was done. Susan Rice, she spoke yesterday on the status and what was going on, and also about the relationship with Israel. Did you hear what she had to say, and what were your thoughts on what she had?
Well, there's no question. You're correct. The final details of any deal has not all been ironed out. In fact, Iran, is again raising some questions on whether or not they're going to agree with it. They have one goal in mind, and that is to get their hands on nuclear weapons, which we know they would use on Israel in a second. So I think it's very important that we hear all sides. I don't see what the harm would be in hearing the Prime Minister addressing Congress and what his concerns are. He's fighting for the lives of his nation. You can certainly understand why it's so important to him. We are the greatest ally, the greatest power in the world, and I'm sure that the Prime Minister wants to make sure that the United States and American people understand what's going on. And any kind of a deal, once it's finalized, Nancy, if it's a bad deal, would certainly make it worse for Israel. And so I think that's what the Prime Minister is going to tell us today.
Yeah, and Susan Rice did say, and she got much applause when she said a bad deal is not better than no deal.
Agree.
Did you feel any better after hearing what she had to say?
Well, I do, but again, the devil's always in the details around here, and I've learned that you really need to wait and see and read between the lines and hear what is the final deal or what the negotiations are really coming to be. So I'm going to reserve myself. I'm going to keep an open mind. That's why I think it's important to hear the Prime Minister of Israel, to hear what he has to say, his point of view, and then wait and hear what the administration tells us.
Are you surprised that so many Democrats, I think, what's the number, 50?
I think there are 50. I'm not sure.
Democrats are boycotting the speech and don't intend to.
I think it's wrong. I just think it's wrong. It's such an important time in our history right now, and I don't think turning your back on a Prime Minister because of the protocol of how he was invited. It's a little childish to me, really, to not to even want to hear whether you agree or disagree. I think it's important that we have all this information. I sit on the Homeland Security Committee. I was appointed to counterterrorism and intelligence, and I could tell you that it's very, very concerning what's happening not only around the world, but right here at home.